I'm the only alcoholic on here.
No, no, ma'am. I just sat down, but the uncle nearest is right here. Don't play.
Okay. Okay.
All righty. So, as you can see, this is live and direct, and you know what's in everybody's cup. It is the At the Roundtable podcast show. Wow. Well, guys, you are in for a treat. And as you can see, I am severely outnumbered today. Thanks, Adrian. But I know the co-host will not leave me hanging too much today. She's right over
No.
there. It's the pit bull in the dress, Melissa Bartlett. What's going on, sis?
What's going on? How you guys doing? Hey, podcast family. I am so glad that we are able to do the show again. You have no idea how much I look forward to Wednesdays because it is the middle of the week and it is that pick me up that I need to get connected to you guys. And I'm super excited because we have two queens on here today that is going to educate us, stimulate us, and liberate us to be free and comfortable with what we all like to do. We have Miss Liz and Miss Charli. Liz been on the show before. Charli is my fellow lioness, and she's one of our top guests, top viewers because of her always commenting and catching up and sharing our show. So um, I'm gonna let them really introduce themselves because A Money usually does this. We miss you, A Money.
Miss you.
Um, However, we're gonna hold it down, and we know you're watching. So, family, yeah. So we're gonna go to Liz and let her introduce herself, give you a little quick couple facts about who she is, and for those who have seen her before, you know you're in for a treat, and for those who haven't, you can watch this and then go back to our YouTube channel to catch up on some of the previous shows that she's been on. Hello, Liz, and welcome to At the Roundtable again.
Hi, thanks for having me again. This is my favorite one to do, for real though. So I'm Liz Mallers. All my handles say Liz the Sexpert, which kind of explains what I do. I'm a sex expert, sexologist, sex educator, all those in one. And my specialty is female sexual functioning and orgasms and pleasure. So that's kind of where my passion lies, although, sexuality is such a broad field that you can't just focus in on one thing without touching in on others as well. So I love talking about it all. I love teaching about it all, and I love learning about it all. So I'm really excited for what we've got in store for us today.
Woohoo! And then we have Miss Tudes. We know her as Charli Tudes. I know her as my BBFF, and gonna let her give you her moment of a couple of facts about her, introduce herself.
So, hello at the Roundtable family. Nice to put a face to your comments, right? So I'm always in the comments, like she said before, but I am Charli Tudes on all internet, or the party with Charli around all social media. But it's Chonda Charli Glass, and I am a Pure Romance senior consultant. So I help people play without a copay. We're going to talk about all the things sexual health related, because it is not a bad word. And I love that I'm on here with Liz, because I was able to catch her on here before, and she has some great content. So I think between the two of us, I'm so excited about what could come out of our mouths, right? So with that being said, I totally support that. We're both sexual educators. I do it in women 18 and over at home parties. Thank you, COVID. I've had to pivot and I've gone online, but I also have a specialty in dealing with the cancer recovery, and also women who have had trauma, only because that was what my driving force was to even start the business. Just wondering, how did the body work? What are some things that are taboo that we don't talk about that should be just as normal as cookies and cream? So I'm really excited about today. I love sharing my products and knowledge and learning. So this is going to do all the things for me today.
I had something that popped in my head that was so inappropriate when you just said about no telling what's gonna.
Here's the thing. You know me as my VBFF, so we already know the inappropriate might come out of our mouths. We might even get carried and blushed a little bit, but I'm just saying.
We are grown.
All right, so here why I come in
Adult.
and say the thoughts and views that are expressed here on At the Roundtable podcast show. Disclaimer. Uh, this is going to be a very, very worthwhile show because not only do we want to talk about as far as the taboos and such, but we also want to talk about as far as while we're all hearing COVID, how we can become even more intimate or realize some things that we are missing. Yes, brothers, y'all are missing some things at home. So we're going to find out from the experts, and Pitbull is probably going to throw in a couple of jabs as well, as she should. So let's go ahead and get started. Nah, I see you shaking your head, sis. You are. I know. I'm getting ready.
I'm so excited.
Oh yeah,
I
this
can
is gonna
start
be real.
already.
This is gonna be real good. So who wants to go ahead and start this thing off? Let you guys dialogue while we go ahead and find out who's on here and following us at this time.
So I will start off with one of the questions that a woman inboxed me, and she said that she wanted to know if it was common for a woman that has had a hysterectomy, whether full or partial. She notices that she's starting to have some discharge, and you know, and she's like, she doesn't know why it's happening now because she's had her hysterectomy probably about a good 5 years ago, and it seems like it's just starting now. She doesn't know if that's change with her as a person, or is this, some type of delayed effect from the surgery. And she's also realizing that sexually, she's not that into it anymore, which she used to didn't be that way. So she wanted to ask, you ladies, if it was something that was common, and if there was something that she can do to, make sure that she's healthy down there and also spark her sex drive. So jump in, guys.
All right. Well, I don't mind going first if you don't mind, Charli.
I don't mind. I was going to pass it to you to say, let's get the clinical and the technical out of the way, because this is a great topic that I'm glad it's the first question.
Yeah, it is. So when, of course, I don't know the age of this woman, so this is going to be a little bit more of a generic answer that I'm given, but
she is, I'm not sure, but I'll say between the ages of like 40 and 52 or something like that, like around there.
Okay, and so she got the hysterectomy about 5 years ago. So a hysterectomy, partial or full, can send a woman into menopause or perimenopause earlier than what's, her like normal biology would have done if she hadn't had a hysterectomy. And during, I'm not saying that she's in menopause, because I don't want to put that on somebody, but it's also totally normal and healthy too. So let's normalize it. But when you're going through menopause, and even just at that age in general, your body will go through these hormonal changes, and the hormones really do affect vaginal discharge and lots of other things. But specifically speaking for this question, it does affect that as well as libido. So I'm not surprised to hear that. There are definitely ways to combat it. And I'm sure Charli can speak to that as well with toys and lube help and whatnot. But yeah, I'm not a doctor. I also want to preface with that. So I'm not a medical doctor. So you could also talk.
One of us are practicing medicine.
None of us are practicing medicine. So I would also check with your medical doctor, and just you could get a panel done just to see where your hormones are at and see how much they have changed, because I'm sure they did it probably before your hysterectomy. I would hope that they would have done it at least somewhere around that time frame. So you can have that checked and see how they've changed. And but know that it does throw you into menopause, or it can throw you into menopause earlier than what your body would have done on its own. And yeah, so it would affect the discharge there and libido.
Okay. So Charli, what does she have something that can spark her libido and maybe
So
um
yes, that's the
okay.
yes. She can do things to spark her libido. I guess my other question would be whether any other changes other than hysterectomy. Could it be her diet? Could it be the activity that she's doing? Because introducing more activity to your vagina, it's going to cause things to change, right? And if your pH balance changes, if your body is going through something stress related, that's the body's response. Like discharge is something that's very natural, very normal to us. It's going to change and fluctuate through age, as well as, she's had a major surgery. Although it's routine, it's still a major surgery. So I would have to ask her to start journaling what she's done and what has changed in the last 5 years. She may become more active, less active, but with as far as lubricants go, I would definitely suggest a water-based lubricant because she's had the hysterectomy. We have 3 different water-based lubricants that are available to her. I would suggest one that we have that's in our Healthy Living line that is re-wetting, that offers a CBD component to it that can also help sometimes with pain associated with the trauma,
Hmm.
because it is a trauma. So none of us are doctors. We're not practicing that. We don't say that, but we do have a product that has the CBD in it that is known to help in that situation, speaking from just educational on how to use the products. I would strongly suggest either the water-based Healthy Living or our Just Like Me, because they offer a re-wetting component and they don't interfere with the pH balance, which is something that could be causing her discharge. But as Liz suggested, I would strongly say, talk to your doctor, do a little searching in your own patterns and changes and what were some of the changes, because even little significant changes can affect a woman's discharge.
Okay. Okay.
To add
So
on to that, some of the changes, sorry, real quick, some of the
no.
changes that I just thought of while you were talking, Charli, is any kind of material of your clothing, especially your underwear. And if your activity level has gone down, because we're stuck at home here, so, or if it's gone up, that can also affect a lot of what's going on down there with the pH balance and the hormones and all that as well. So yeah, keeping a journal is a great idea, and just to see patterns that you wouldn't otherwise see when you're just thinking of it.
So you touched on it a little bit, both of you guys, in regards to COVID-19 and then your line of work and having to think outside the box and pivot in regards to online reaching and helping others, educating others. So, what has been the most either challenging or fulfilling part that you're maybe didn't think that being online or being virtual would bring you in your line of business?
For me, I had to completely pivot from at-home
You
parties.
got
It was getting the girls to get up. She's frozen. Am I frozen or is just she
No, you're
frozen?
not frozen.
Okay.
yeah.
So I had to completely pivot. We were completely at home, vendor events. We were very hands-on. So for me, the business changed when I had to figure out a way to reach my clients as well as keep to the business plan of 18 and over women only safe spaces. So it's very hard to do that and monitor that when you have to go to a Zoom environment or a personal consultation. What I found easy for me is that because all of my streams of income involve public speaking and not necessarily having to need their responses and feedbacks, the transition wasn't as hard as I thought it was. It was more of changing it to the safe space is now extra safe because now it's just you and me. And then that opened more personal consultations, more couples asking questions because they're at home together. And as when the men could not come to the parties before, or I was missing out on my LGBTQIA++, they're all reaching out now in a manner which they feel more comfortable because it's really just like this setting is. It's me and them in a private room and they get one-on-one questions that they may not want to ask in a group setting. So I think that was the gratifying part for me, is that I've been able to see that consultation is still a huge part of the party movement. And when we have girls' nights now, no one has to worry about hiring a maid to clean the house or stressing about what we're going to put on the table. It's kind of, BYOB and make your own menu. And we still have the same intimate questions. And now you can, mute yourself when you've got to scream or blush.
Okay.
And what about you, Liz?
So mine has been a similar experience as Charli. I actually lost a couple clients, and this was probably the biggest surprise for me. Is I lost a couple clients. They were seeing me without their partner knowing, which I don't encourage, but we were still working on that, and I hadn't gotten quite that far to where they talked to their partner about it. So they didn't want to, being stuck in the same house with their partner. They didn't want to Zoom with me and then have, their partner here and say like, who are you talking to? So,
Right.
So I lost a couple people because of that. But I have really benefited from just really grasping a hold of everybody's online right now. I'm bad at social media. I'm not good at streamlining everything. I'm not good at remembering to post. I actually missed my post today and I got to do it after. And so this has really been helping me focus more on that. Since I know everybody's online, I've really prioritized it. And although it doesn't look like much yet, I am doing more than I have been. And I also have started a goal of mine, which was to start my YouTube channel. And I've posted a video. So I'm hoping to record another one this upcoming weekend and get the ball rolling on some more videos. And it's just helping me branch out and think of other avenues that I could do some outreach and connect with people. And I also have a lot of other interests with sexuality and with what I want to do with sexuality and like different services and whatnot. So this time has really helped me take a seat back and figure out what I can do to maybe combine these interests and really just branch out and get creative and innovative with the tools that are right at my fingertips.
I'm glad she said that, because that reminded me, I discovered that I have a YouTube channel, so maybe I should use that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yes, I think
Somebody said, I followed you on your YouTube channel. I went, I have one of those. Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah, that thing.
Very good. So here's a quick question, because we talked about COVID and we talked about how it's changed dramatically, your business structure and things that you guys do that was normal. Okay, let's talk about couples. Have you seen an upswing? In other words, not just them asking questions and such, but in both of your fields, have they come to you to pretty much stress how, because of COVID, things are kind of boring, or they need a little more spice, or what can you do to kind of like shift things that are going on at the house, since we always see each other? Have you, each one of you, seen a change in that? Inquiring minds want to know. Yeah.
I'm gonna say yes.
Yes.
More so than I thought,
Mm-hmm.
but not so much that it was boring. I'm just excited about the conversation that the gentlemen are willing to join in and have with us now. I'm excited about the conversations that are happening with couples that I know that maybe weren't talking before COVID. Like, they got so used to being on the go and doing all the things, and we all get into routines and life, for the better part of everything, happens, right? We weren't really focused on the relationship part of the things. When you're with someone every day, or you're not with someone every day, which is, currently a situation I am, you're doing long distance, or, you're separated, it really makes people take an assessment. So I won't say that they say it's boring, but I think that they're finding the fundamentals as a couple and functioning as a couple has definitely changed and morphed for a lot of people, to include myself, of what that understanding is, because we're either at home or forced to be stationary, or just have to look at things in a more intimate space because of COVID. Like you don't want to go out and bring something home. And we're not just talking about, you know, what used to be a cheating circle. It's kind of, I don't want my husband to go to work or my wife to go to work or my girlfriend or living boyfriend to exit the house, not knowing sights unseen, things that they have to tackle. So I just think that for me personally, the conversations I'm having, from everything to who cooked dinner on Tuesday to what's actually happening in the bedroom, is definitely changed because we're focused more on, we're going to be looking at each other for a very long time.
Okay.
Yeah. I've noticed similar trends. Definitely people are coming to me saying, Liz, oh my gosh, where did my libido go? I don't even care about sex, and I don't care that I don't care about sex. But that's the problem with me. Like, help me. So but it makes so much sense. And even for the couples, there were some couples I noticed who, you know, quarantining together, a lot of them had a spike in their libido, and, you know, they were all over each other for a while, and then it took a serious dip, and that was concerning for them. But it makes a lot of sense because routine is such a libido killer. The mundane lifestyle, the repeated over and over, the days blending together. If you do the same thing repeatedly, it gets boring, you get desensitized to it, you start to be a little bit more irritated with each other instead of attracted to each other. And the biggest thing that I tell people is remember novelty, space, and just trying to do things for each other, whether it's, you know, telling them compliments that they don't hear you say every day because we don't dress up anymore. So maybe you don't say, oh, you look really nice today in your sweatpants and slippers.
A new t-shirt, baby, because that looks good.
Is that a new turban that you're wearing by chance?
Yeah.
Talk about the bunny slippers. Hey, girl, them bunny slippers.
Okay.
Go with the bunny spurs.
But you could, you know, there are other ways to compliment your partner. Say, hey, you know, I've really appreciated you stepping up with the dishes. You know, that really shows me that you love me. And I just want to let you know all the appreciation I have for you. Like that could really just settle with them for the rest of the week, maybe longer, because when do we talk to each other like that, when we're just routine every day? So doing things for your partner, knowing your partner's love language is huge too. So whether you
just curious to say that, I was like, find the love language, find how to talk to each other, because my love language is so not communication or talking to each other, contrary to popular belief.
Yes.
I'm an active service person, so you could drop flowers on the table and I'll go, thank you, what is that? But you know, if they did something that I didn't have to do because they knew I was tired, like I'm all, okay, hey, that's hot. So it's really, like Liz said, you got to find a way to communicate. Love languages have been really, really huge for both single people and couples, because children even have love languages. Like, you know, you're in the house a lot with your kids. So now as a couple, you got to find a way to tend to the kids and keep the kids occupied while you find some quiet time. So learning how to speak to one another through your love languages or just communication, period, has definitely been a change.
Definitely, yeah. And just trying to throw in something new, something like every day, try to do something that's not part of your routine. So whether it's, you know, if you're talking intimate stuff, maybe be intimate in a different, maybe it's not the bedroom, maybe if you don't have kids, or maybe if grandma and grandpa have the kids or something, and like you go, you know, kitchen or living room.
Flip interest.
You said what?
I had to tell them, I said flip interest. So you might not be into it, but they're into it. So try it, right? Like, you know, I always say all the time, we have one series of homework where I say it's the flashlight game. And I tell people all the time, you get the flashlight while you have the flashlight, they have to do and say what you can do, and they can't respond until they get the flashlight. You set it for 5 minutes or 30, but, you know, discover things. And, you know, it might be tracing a flashlight over their body, or it could be simply putting the flashlight on the table because you want to have a sit-down dinner. But just find different ways to change these lines of communication.
Oh, you
See,
got ideas now.
flashlight. Let me
Yeah,
put
you got
that on my
ideas.
notebook.
I'm
The
just saying, it's
flashlight.
very helpful. If you come in and you have a flashlight and you say, honey, I have the flashlight, and right now you have to listen and respond to what I say, and you can't really say anything. And I'm going to say, we're going to do this for the next 30 minutes. And you give them that for 30 minutes. And, you know, I've got some new babies being born as we speak because of flashlights. So,
And I would say while the flashlight is out, the phones and devices are away. And
yeah,
on each other.
yeah.
Okay.
Unless
Now,
So couples have
I was
homework.
about to say, so what if they were the phone? No,
they want to turn on some parts.
but
I mean, you know.
so is there some type of app? This might be some money for the both of you guys. Is there some type of sexual app that kind of helps couples that's out there that you guys know of or you might need to develop? Because you have, things that
Oh, that was a good question. She froze.
is there
So
something
I'll start
out
it off.
there
We
that
have the
okay,
BuzzFeed. So we have the Buzz. It's available
the
through
buzz.
my website, partywithcharli.com, and it's various articles. I just posted an article in my VIP group, but it's various articles and things to try. One was just geared towards couples trying to.
You mute.
Uh-oh. Charlie, you there
There
you
you go.
Find. I was wondering what happened there. I was like, hey, where'd they
go.
go? I started to freeze. So we have different articles set up, and I just posted one about couples that trying to find that quiet place, 10 different tips on how to do it. So it's not so much an app, but we do offer through our blog and our vlog, and I do weekly videos and posts that challenge couples and single people to find the intimacy again. We're going to have to find new ways to do that. So we offer that up. I also offer 52. Hallmark has a card game that's 52 dates. And I compare that and combine that with our hot date card game. And I say, just sit down and pull out the deck of cards and see what happens. Who doesn't like, a good game and some intimate questions? Mild Wild is how they start. So it's not so much apps, because I really think this time is a time to notice that you can get away from the electronics. You can get away from the app because we've forgotten how to talk. Like, I noticed that the most. I've forgotten how to communicate without swiping. So I've gone back to the traditional, let's pull out the hot date night card games. Let's pull out this particular thing. Let's play out board games and figure out ways to communicate. There's Girls Say What, which is another card game that is male and female gender positions, questions, where it's a deck of cards and you literally pull them out and you speak to one another. I played that in a round of Zoom where I invited the guys to come in, and it was hilarious because, what we think might be a guy's answer really came from a female, and the guys went the opposite way. So I've gotten away from the apps, but I've definitely found ways that I have through my website or other businesses that I network with that get us back to the intimacy of everything without having to use the electronics unless it's in the form of a toy.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you hit on a couple of the games that I was thinking of, but similarly, I don't know a lot of apps, but there is a website that I recommend to pretty much almost any couple that wants to spice things up, and it's mojoupgrade.com. And it basically is a survey that you each take one after the other privately, and it'll ask you from mild to wild questions. It'll say, do you like giving or receiving kisses? And then it'll go all the way up to something a little bit more wild and crazy. And you can say yes, no, maybe, or I'm not sure yet. And something like that. They've upgraded it since I've last looked at it. But and then your partner takes it, and then you click view results, and it shows everything that overlaps with a maybe or a yes. So then it's just a good conversation starter to say, oh, I had no idea that you also were really into having sex out of a tall facing window, like on the 17th story of a hotel. Maybe we should
Writing this down. She said, what now?
Yeah, right. So, you know, that could be just an idea starter, and it can get the ball rolling. And you can say, oh yeah, well, actually there was this Airbnb and it's available this weekend and very within our budget, and we should go, you know, they have a hot tub or whatever it is. So
Gotcha.
yeah. Mojo.
Carrie, we got any family coming in, or everybody just listening? Usually these kind of shows, we don't have a lot of comments. Everybody just has their notebooks and their pens, like, okay.
Yeah, they're writing and taking notes and being very timid right now, which we do not want you to do. We want you to definitely chime in.
No, don't be timid.
Yeah, just definitely. Sean Thompson, thank you for joining us on At the Round Table. He said, I'm bold and I'm bad. I'm just gonna go ahead and jump in real quick. So thank you for joining us. Looks like we've had a couple of people coming on as well. Quick question though, because you mentioned as far as putting away the electronics, and you mentioned basically these different type of games and such that we can do. I'm being a bit daring right now. So, around the house, because someone made a joke not too long ago as far as going on a trip, and they noted bedroom 1, bedroom 2, kitchen, den area and such, and they said each day they're going on a trip to a different room, so to speak. That's not a bad idea, don't you think? I mean, considering we're all kind of close.
I've done it. I've had a bar crawl in every corner of my establishments. I've had a bar crawl, a wine tasting. We've had a chocolate event. So it's funny you should mention that, Carrie, because I suggested it, and I even suggested it for just girlfriends and work. If you can't get out of the house, turn your house into something else. You know, it's Reading Rainbow all over again. You know, do what Reading Rainbow said. You know, take a look. It's in a book. Okay. Go over and overthink it. Like, turn your room. You can turn the kitchen into a luau. You know, put the luau on the table, the kitchen table, and have a luau in the kitchen. But definitely, I strongly suggest using your inner atmosphere. I mean, myself included. Who would have ever thought that I take a trip involving boats and beaches and all the things when everybody knows that I'm so not going to put worms on a hook. I went fishing and my grandfather did it for me. I found the next boyfriend who liked fishing and he did it for me. I wasn't that girl, never going to be that girl. But now it's like, okay, COVID says that you like it and I just need some sun. So can we go sit somewhere and I soak up some sun while you go do whatever it is that you love? Or, you know, again, my instance, it's long distance. So now you're having virtual dates, long distance. Because you have to think about it. I'm in a military town. I'm a military brat growing up. I have a military counterpart. So, you've got to think, if you're not with that person, then you do have to take these virtual dates that your living room and their living room are not necessarily the same place. But today it's both Hawaii. We're both in Honolulu for this next hour and a half. Or for the next 2 days. Like when I say I'll go off the grid, I'm literally just in my house with nothing on. Like, we're not listening to the radio. It's not all those things. I went off the grid. You didn't find me, but where did I go? Free 99, my living room downstairs. No worries.
I like that. That's creative. Yeah.
And you can still dress too. You can be like, okay, yep, I'm wearing my bikini that I feel sexiest in, and I paired it with high heels because I'm not in sand, but I can pretend like I am and pretend like this works.
Right?
You know.
Take a whole photo.
See, Carrie, no bunny slippers. She said high heels.
I was going to say that as well, because that kind of leads to the next thing as far as just being creative and getting out of the norm and just going all out, considering we're just stuck here. And There's no telling how long it's going to be, but just to be creative and get away from that. I mean, I love it. I mean, that's, to me, that means you're showing your partner and yourself a bit more attention than you normally would. And I think that's very important. LaTanya Fawcett, thank you for joining us on At the Roundtable Podcast Show. She just joined us. So yeah, Pitbull, what trip you going on this weekend? See, there she go. I knew it.
So I'm not answering that question, but I want to let
okay.
you know that so I'm kind of creative. I come up with different things, and one of my girlfriends is new.
Oh, this is going to be so
Blueprint
good.
of their house.
Okay.
So what I did is I made her and emailed it to her a sex passport. And basically, her and her husband had to have sex in each of the rooms in their house, like in their house, and stamp because Liz, they're kind of like you, where they got married and COVID hit, and so there was no honeymoons, no like getaway. Their getaway was their home. They actually purchased a home before they got married, so it was kind of like it was brand new, you know, delayed in trying to get furniture in and all these different places. And so she started to feel a little bummed out. And I was like, I cannot. So I emailed her the passport so she can have one for her and her husband. And she was just like, we had so much fun. Like they are still like talking about, going back, this place and whatever. And I was like, go to the Dollar Tree, get some little stickers. It could be little kid stickers, it could be whatever, so you can have like these as your stamps or whatever. So she loved that idea, and she's just like, thank you so much, because I hate to say, people say I'm not creative. You are creative, but sometimes you just need a little push on how to think outside the box. So yeah, right. The sex passports are funny.
Sex passports. That's a new Pitbull and Tudes party combination. We'll get those out to the folks. I see that as a hey. I'm always looking for business angle, so
what I made up.
I'm here for it.
I love it. I wrote that down for myself. Like, I'm gonna have to make myself a passport.
Right? Okay. I'm sitting thinking, where can we go together?
That is pretty cool. I like that. That what brings you here, business or pleasure?
Right?
Yeah.
Think all the fun you can have with that.
Yes, indeed. Y'all, hey, make sure you, Melissa, make sure you're getting all these notes now, because we got to share this with A Money. We got to make sure you get some notes.
I know. And I was just gonna tell them, how when depending on where you go, you have a duty fee. So I put duty fee in some of the places and booty fees in some of the other places. So it was like,
amen.
Really cute.
You gotta pay these tolls, ma'am. You gotta pay. I'm with it.
The duty for the booty. Okay, so Latasha just joined us. Latasha Carson, thank you for joining us at the roundtable. Latasha, she is, she's the businesswoman as well. She needs to get on here and share with us as well. Okay, I kind of like that. Duty fees, passport.
I mean, and Carrie, you like to cook, so you could do a different meal as the theme of a night out. You can have a Mediterranean night and do all the things associated with Mediterranean. Greek goddess, Aphrodite, Psyche. Like, there's so many, like, the way my main brain works out, especially being sapiosexual and I'm mentally stimulated, the nerd in me will pull out all types of stops. So we're going to have a costume party where you have to be, someone from the Middle Ages. Like, you've got to do, you've got to do it, even if it's just you. And I tell people that all the time. Don't get focused on the fact that you're in COVID and by yourself, because if this isn't a time to explore your body and figure out how she works for when you do have a partner, I don't know when else is. Like, I get that question all the time. Well, it's just me. Okay, right. It's you and Bob and Tom and all. Like, I tell people, COVID should have had you upgrade from your Bob to a Tom. Bob was your battery operated boyfriend. Tom is a triple orgasm machine. Don't act like you don't need an upgrade. Okay, get yourself a
Hey,
Tom.
Tom. Yes, I like a Tom. Let me put that in my notepad.
Oh, you need to
Tom.
stop. You need to stop.
I tell people all the time, upgrade from these Bobs and get yourself a Tom.
And if, some people are losing their jobs and not able to maybe afford some of these Toms, but that doesn't mean that you can't explore your body and figure out, some of your new likes. I mean, sex changes, your sexuality changes throughout your life, and with age and with exponential factors and just whatever else is going on, COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, maybe something that you didn't think that you liked before, maybe it actually kind of tickles your fancy now. So explore it, get creative, really take this time to tap into yourself. And I mean, make yourself a bath, put some essential oils in it, light a candle, get intimate with yourself. It is the most important relationship you'll ever have. Sexually, yeah, all of that.
I tell people you can find yourself or create yourself, but either way, that's your imagination. I have nothing to do with it.
So you guys are right on one of the other questions that I received. So I have a couple that submitted this question. So she goes, Melissa, I feel that my husband likes to spend time in quotations with himself more than I do. Should I take this as reference that he is not interested in me and I'm not doing a job for him, or should I open up and explore taking time with myself too?
Yes.
The latter part. It's never, masturbation isn't about your partner. It's never about your partner. Masturbation is about self-exploration. As far as I can ever tell it, I mean, in a book and everything, masturbation is about finding out what you like. And if you find out what you like, you can give that tool to your partner. So if he's enjoying time with himself, he can also be respectful of the fact that her libido is not as high as his.
Right.
So it could be a plethora of things.
And not only that, but masturbation will help keep your libido up in the in-between times when you're not intimate with your partner. And also just to help keep you, like I said, it's the most important sexual relationship you'll have is the one with yourself. And if you're not tapping back into your own sexual relationship, then something's going to feel off. You're going to feel unbalanced, and you might not feel as excited about sex with your partner because something's just off. And it's probably because you're feeling a disconnect with yourself. And how are you going to please somebody else if you're not feeling like you've been pleasing yourself, So it's you'll be a bad partner, but not really, but you'll be not at your optimum level of a partner in bed if you're not taking care of yourself. So I wouldn't take this in offense for the person in question, not at all. Yeah, definitely take this time to explore yourself, and
if not explore yourself, explore it with him.
Yeah.
So he likes the time by himself. However, ask about that, inquire about that, and not in an interrogation, but in exploration. Exploration is always a heightened question. You always have to ask, well, what is it about it? Because you may be able to heighten that when you are together. They can tell you how they like it stroked, and you figured it out, and you've added in a lube, and you've added in a lotion, or you've added in nothing. And it's something that you're doing, because oftentimes your touch feels different than anybody else's. Mm-hmm. And I tell people that all the time. I know what my touch feels like, and you can touch me in the same spot and I have an exactly opposite reaction. I can be completely aroused by the same stroke and touch because it is you, because you are taking the interest. So I would just say it's definitely not a turn off, but maybe a turn up, and maybe a turn on, or maybe a turn down, but it's definitely cause for exploration and conversation.
And you can start it with masturbating in front of each other too. It can become, you start with yourself and then see where the night goes. Maybe you do end up playing with each other instead of yourself, or maybe you end up, flip-flopping and going back and forth and doing it all in one,
It's just heard that song in my head. It's a party, it's a party, it's a party. Hey, it's a party, it's a party, it's a party.
It's a party with Charli.
Oh, wow.
Listen in front of each other.
I mean, that was my next suggestion. It's not something that has to be done by yourself. Me time doesn't have to be by yourself. You might inspire a little bit of voyeurism in yourself that you didn't really know about, you know.
And
Porn doesn't just have to be actors.
That's true. And for the person asking the question too, just because, you know, you want some me time doesn't mean you have to be masturbating, going all the way. You can still be touching and exploring your body without making it sexual, but it can still be sensual and it can still be intimate with yourself without, you know, maybe you don't feel like getting off. Maybe you're not really horny, but maybe you just want to be like cuddly with yourself or just appreciate your body. And it can be something just as simple as looking in the mirror and saying, you know what? You look good. And like giving yourself some compliments or something.
I need that t-shirt, Liz. I want to be cuddly with myself.
Yeah, there's that. I mean, and you know, sensuality is amazing when you think about it, right? Because sensuality involves all of your senses. I mean, it could be putting on the smell of food, like me, a pound cake bacon. I'm like, okay, what can I get? And then my brain starts going in the ice cream. And then what am I doing with it? And it's over, right? And all they did was bake a cake. That's why I'm sitting here like, I could not have.
That's why she's my BBFF.
Because we'd be over. Like, I'd be 300 pounds easily if I didn't move, because I just like, so you made what? Okay. And we did what? Okay. And you want to do what with the fruit? I'm with it. Okay. So let's try that. And, you know, it's all about finding a way to pleasure. Bottom line. Playing without copays and finding a way to pleasure.
Good point. And it's interesting you mentioned that, because I don't know if you have seen lately, there is an exercise that is out right now, which you can actually work with your partner to exercise. Yeah. And it's more along the line of connecting sensually, not necessarily having sex, but just getting to that energy in which you both are in tune with each other and you're both getting fit and you're sharing something.
I have seen it. I want to own it. I want to try it. I want to do all the things, and I want to watch it, only because the intimate connection between that workout that you're seeing there is absolutely amazing to watch for someone like me who's totally into relationships and how they work. Because I saw it, Carrie, and I went, wait a minute. She ain't even mad about sweating. I wouldn't even be mad about sweating either if it was, because it changed it from a workout to how far we're gonna push each other. And if I get J-Lo's body out of it and I put a pole in the living room, that's his fault. Okay. I mean, that's just how it goes.
That energy exchange is so great. And also the other thing that I saw, you guys, I don't know if you guys saw this. This is where the blind date photo shoot.
Yes.
Have you guys saw the blind date photo shoot pictures?
That turned into an entanglement. Amen.
These pictures, you could tell that they're so connected. Like, and they just met each other literally on the day that they had a photo shoot. There is a little bit of pairing with the photographer, because he has so many people that's like on the list now. Like, I want to do it. So he does a little background.
Doing copycat stuff and shooting up. Like I just recently saw one that was happening here in DC, Melissa. I was like, oh. Yeah. So let me get this straight. This is a questionnaire, and then we just show up.
You gotta check it out. So you fill out this questionnaire, and the photographer will kind of match you up with whoever. And I mean, there's been some, like, so far, some nice, strong relationships started after this. Like, it's really taken. So I was like, I love watching those. If I was single, I would definitely, that'd be something I would have did, because it's just such a different spin on blind date, first date kind of thing.
Dating has gotten so far from what dating used to be, right? That, you know, dating is now swipe left, swipe right. So the fact that these shoots are happening is that old school courting and kindling of human nature that we all wanted when we were kids. Like, we didn't want to grow up and swipe left or right. We wanted to see what that Snicker was that our parents or our grandparents had when someone walked by. You know, we remember the butterflies, and we had a crush on somebody at school. Like, for me, I got my crush, so it was like, ooh, butterflies. And they still happen because you still think about all the things that you wanted to be a part of. And you can't get that electronically. You can't get that in this fast age of dating. You just cannot replace that butterfly in your stomach.
That's sweet.
And I think those shoots definitely do it.
Yeah, that's sweet. That's sweet. So, ladies, um, hmm, what can you suggest for those who are entering into exploration? Um, Something mild that they can do uh, with their partner, for their partner, whether it be a date, but just something to kind of break up the monotony, break up but they're not like ready to just explore their wild side yet. So, they're just peeking in the door of you guys' world to see, you know, what can I do? What do you tell those type of people, those first timers, those timid people? What do you suggest for them?
Are you talking specifically people already in couples, already coupled up, or looking for a partner, or
Yeah. Who's
Looking for
exploring?
people
Are
who
we
are
talking
in a
single?
couple.
Okay.
Let's do both. Let's do people that maybe have been in a relationship for a while, and then people who are looking.
okay. Um, well, those already in a relationship and you just kind of want to toe the water a little bit, do something a little bit different, but don't jump in the deep end quite yet. I would say, go back to the basics, because we forget the basics like eye contact and touch. We forget about those all too often. So, when you're off work or at the end of the day, an exercise I like to give couples is give your high and low, highlight, low light, or your top five. That's basically what is your low light of the day. What's like the thing that was not, it was your least favorite part of the day, and then your most favorite part of the day. And then that just kind of
Okay.
gives instead of the typical, how was your day? We all say, oh, it's fine. How was yours? Fine. And then the conversation ends and fizzles. That was nothing. That was surface level. That wasn't even a conversation. So a highlight, low light, or giving your top five or top three favorite things of the day helps get that conversation a little bit deeper than the average. And make sure you have eye contact. And I would say during this conversation, maybe you sit facing each other on the couch, and the person who's talking or the person who's listening gives like a hand massage or a foot massage to the person who's talking. And like Charli said, set a timer or, answer the question, and then you switch. And so you get that eye contact and you get that touch in and you get that active listening. So your partner feels appreciated. And I would just say, remember your basics, because they are so easily forgotten. As far as the single people, and they want to, maybe they're online dating or maybe hoping to explore, remember to be vulnerable. That's what I would say. Remember to open your heart. You don't have to open it all the way and say, these are my likes in bed, these are my dislikes, do we match? But you can say, here's a little piece of me that I don't share with everybody I meet, but just remember to show some vulnerability and honesty, and then being genuine, and then you'll get that back. People can tell.
Okay. And what about you, Charli?
It's along the same lines. For your couples that have been together, they're surfing, as I like to say, surfing for live wires and connections. As she said, get back to the basics, but start to ask open-ended questions, things that lead places. I like that she said her highlight, low light. I often say set a time where it's either a mini date. So this could be coffee, where all we're going to do is we're going to have something quick and we're just going to talk about whatever it is you want to talk about, or nothing at all. Because for me, sometimes I just want to be in your presence and I just want to sit there and know that you're sitting there and that you don't want to sit anywhere else but with me. So I have to say that it's like she said, very basic. Find what attracted you to them, revisit some of your first dates, some of your first places. Remember some of your first conversations. We as women, we all have that notebook or that journal that we remember. Oh, he took me to this place and this place and this place. Or the first time I saw him, da 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 da. And I even know some guys that can tell you, you know, when I saw you walk by doing X, Y, and Z, ask them those questions, recreate those moments. I tell people in relationships all the time, you have to recycle your attraction. Even if it means what took you back to the first, you have to recycle the attraction. And if you found out that you've grown into different people, find new attractions to recycle. But you've got to recycle that energy and that chemistry. For single people that are, you know, exploring, I tell them the biggest part of exploration is, as she said, reception and vulnerability. You have to be able to receive someone and then let someone receive you, and then be vulnerable enough to do that. A lot of independent people, or, you know, the quote unquote extrovert, really isn't receptive because they're too busy putting on the peacock show. But the peacock is its prettiest when it thinks no one's looking and all their regalia is in full bloom. So you have to, as a single person surfing or exploration, open yourself up to receive and allow yourself to be received, because those are different things. And then that vulnerability to show, because oftentimes, myself included, when I found myself in my relationship, someone else had to tell me, and it was because I opened up all of the guards. I opened up all of the walls. I was receptive to receiving that person and allowing that person to receive me. And then the game changed, because it wasn't a game anymore. It was just something that was a challenge. And there's a difference between games and challenges. Everyone likes to be challenged. Everyone likes to be complimented in a certain way. So when you find yourself open and receptive, the challenge could be they see you closing what used to be opened, and they're going to put their foot in the door, right? They'll be like, nope,
Gotcha.
I'm sorry, I've seen it. I've seen it now, so here we go. But it's definitely about, for both old, new couple, single, married, dating, all the things, you have to be vulnerable, submissive, and willing to receive. Those are keys.
Okay, so back to basics and recycle the attraction. Those are the two things I take out. So, real quick, you guys, tell the family how to follow you, how to tag with you, and also share any upcoming events that you have going on that you want our family to follow and participate in. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw this out here, Carrie. Hey, Money, if you're watching, I think at the round table needs to have a fun night with these two ladies playing games. Bring your significant others, and we do a big party, a big Zoom party. I'm putting it out there now. We're gonna get that together.
Like that.
I'm here for
Like
it.
that.
I'm there. I'm there.
So I'll go first. Mine's real easy. So it's PARTI with CHARLI everywhere. It's the Party with Charli.com is the website. IG, Facebook, everywhere. It's just the Party with Charli. And you can find me. I'm online like all day. I now have people that do it for me. Thank you for scheduling. I can have people schedule it for me. And then partywithcharli.com will get you not only into the Pure Romance products, but that is a way to send me emails, questions, and conversations by just sending me a cute message. And then, of course, my Charli Tudes on Facebook is my page where you can send me messages and find me there. But those are easiest for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Liz?
Yeah.
Mine, pretty much across the board, is Liz the Sexpert. So LIZTHESEXPERT. And that's Facebook, Instagram. I'm not good at Twitter. I think I've have one, but I'm not really sure if I still have one. So forget about Twitter. Yep, you know. And YouTube as well, Liz the Sexpert. I do these quickies with Liz channel that I just started. So it's 5-minute-ish videos, and they're entertaining, in my opinion, and also informative. So it's a good way to see my personality on the more entertaining side of things versus the more like sterile educational side of things, and just kind of gives people a little bit of a blip about me to see if, you know, whether or not they want to hire me. And upcoming, I have, if you follow me on Instagram, please do, and you will see upcoming, I will be posting about a giveaway that I'm going to be doing on a toy. So it's a nice little womanizer type, stimulates oral sex for a woman with just
so exciting. We just added that and sealed with a kiss.
It's so fantastic. So yes, this could be your Tom potentially. You could win a Tom.
Win a Tom. I like it.
Win a Tom.
Win a Tom.
So I will be posting those details of how to enter contest, and I will be doing that shortly once I, you know, light the fire under my ass about actually doing better about social media. So
yeah. And I've got a couple of events that you guys can participate in. So spoke about breast cancer. Charli Tudes is Team Tudes. We're doing the DC Komen Walk. So I have a link open for donations all over my page, as well as you can buy products, and 100% of those proceeds are going to DC's Komen Walk, which is September 12th. And then I'm doing a back to school event where someone can win a Chromebook also on September 12th, because relationships are even about those with the community. So those are the Give Back weekends. And I do a lot of that as the volunteer captain for Komen DC Walk, which has now gone virtual. And then with my vendor group, Zim's Events, we are doing a back to school drive for supplies and giving away, raffling off a Chromebook.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you guys not only have your business, but you're also giving back to the community, giving back to your supporters. This has been great. I think people have taken a lot of real life, realistic information that they can apply, whether you're mild or wild. Mm-hmm. And I think that, you know, it's really great, and definitely want to really be serious. I'll be in contact with you guys to see how we can organize this fun night, and, you know, have couples and whoever, singles, whatever, whoever wants to come and get in and have the fun games and things. And I may even purchase something from either both of you guys so we could give something away to the viewers, or, you know, the people who participate. So definitely want to get that in, and I want to do it quickly. So I'll be contacting you guys. Thank you for accepting our invitation to At the Round Table. Liz, thank you for being our return guest. Charli, thank you so much for coming on. It was nice to have you out the comment section and in front.
I'll come anytime. I'll come anytime.
Yeah. Carrie, got anything to say? I took notes. I'm gonna tell you now, and I'll message you guys and let you guys know how it worked out for me. Okay?
Yes.
Definitely.
I love reviews.
Yeah. What you got, Carrie?
Pitbull has taken notes. She's gonna share those with Adrian. I'm gonna sit back and watch, see what his reaction is on his face, because you know how he gets. It's gonna be wonderful. But yeah, we thank y'all for joining us tonight on At the Round Table. It was amazing just to listen to these two professionals in regards to, heck, I learned a lot. I'm gonna go in here and have a talk with Renee, and she's been watching, and I'm sure I'll get quizzed, and we're gonna take a trip around this new house of ours. So hey, with that being said,
right now.
Yes, and then go ahead and cook up something, say we be.
Who said travel was dead? Who said it? Who said travel was dead?
Hey, what can I say?
Hey.
You know, give credit what credit's due, you know. But But guys, check this out. If you get a chance, and I'm gonna ask everybody who's watching this and see this and such, share it, because the individuals that we bring on here are amazing and they have a plethora of knowledge, and you actually walk away learning something that you can apply to your life, and it's a positive thing. Because again, it's all about positive media. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and sign off right now. Again, share, love, and we'll do it again real soon, y'all. Thank y'all.